Good to see everybody. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I don't know if we have more people today. If we do, that's great. If not, that's great too. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So again, hello to everyone. Let's look at the session one review. I hope you received this. This was just a way to reinforce the information that we talked about last Monday. So we have the matching on matching, and we're matching. What are we matching? Who can tell me what we're matching here? What are we identifying in this matching exercise?
Houses with the quality.
Yeah, part of the houses, yeah. Anything else?
I forgot what they're called, but air or elements.
Elements, great. Okay, so a succeeding house is also what kind of house? How would you describe a succeeding house?
I was going to say movable, but I can't remember. I have to look at my note.
Good. Anybody remember? The fixed house. All succeeding houses are fixed houses. They're stable. They're the ones that keep people on the ground. The succeeding houses are the four corners of the earth. What are the four corners of the earth? The fixed signs. What are the fixed signs?
Fixed
Taurus,
Leo,
Aquarius,
and
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Great, great. Yeah, Scorpio. Okay. So now, an air sign. An air sign would be associated with what of these words on the side, on the right side?
Association.
Houses are what kind of houses?
Oh,
Yeah, go on, RJ.
yeah, I don't know yet.
Okay, good. Well,
Let's see. You said Aquarius.
well,
Wait a minute.
and Aquarius is what kind of sign?
I think it's air.
Yep, it's an air sign. But how would we would describe the air sign is a house of what? Air signs are in what kind of houses?
association.
Association. There we go.
Oh boy.
Earth signs are in what kind of houses?
Earth is wealth, right?
Yeah. Okay, no more from you, RJ.
Oh,
No, that wasn't me.
That was me. Sorry, Shaya. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Angular houses are what kind of houses? Have what kind of signs in them?
Ask that question again, please.
Angular houses would be described by what? Psychism, movable, association, life, fixed, wealth, or mutable. How would you associate a wealth? An angular house. We know it's not F because we've done that already. We know it's not association, and we know it's not fixed. So angular houses are what kind of houses? What kind of signs are associated with angular houses? What's the first angular house?
first house,
The
Aries.
first house, yeah, and the first house is also associated with
The angular houses would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn.
perfect, and they are what kind of sounds?
Movable, cardinal.
There we go. That's what that is. Okay,
Not
now,
from memory, but from my notes.
good. Well, then you're making a good note. Okay, water signs are what kind of houses? Are in which houses?
Mutable.
Nope,
Mutable?
no,
But can you ask that again, please?
Water signs are associated with which houses? Now we know that we've seen that earth signs are associated with wealth. And air signs are associations, social. So what would water be? What do water signs, what is a description to water signs?
Psychism.
Atheism, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's psychism. They're emotional as they feel. And a lot of times psychism depends on feel and how you can raise your emotional vibrations. Okay, Caden houses. We only have two things left. We have life and mutable. So what would a Caden house be associated with? How will we describe Caden houses? Which signs are in the Caden houses?
I
Gemini.
think Gemini, Virgo,
You go, girl. And those are what kind of signs?
Sag, and Pi-
Sag,
Pisces.
and Pisces, yeah. They are what kind of signs?
Immutable.
They're mutable.
Mutable.
And so what's the only thing left? It's life or fire. Don't worry, you'll get another opportunity to review this.
Right.
Yeah. What kind of influence is produced when signs are in the north section of the horoscope?
Oh, God. Public.
Excellent. In the east,
Mm.
influence what?
Influence over the environment.
Okay. In the west,
Influenced by the environment. And the South is private.
yeah, okay. You take good notes, girl. Okay, now, I don't mean that, I was thinking about this, and when you say that the people or a horoscope with the majority of signs in the West is influenced by the environment, that's not to say that they are manipulated by the environment, but what their actions are influenced by the environment. What they choose to do is based on what's happening in the environment. Whereas in the East, what they choose to do, they move the environment around to accommodate them. So
Okay.
no one is a victim here. This does not mean to imply that anyone here is a victim or being bullied. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, now, in what sequence do the signs appear by element?
Fire is first. That's what I remember.
Uh-huh.
Fire,
Earth,
air.
and
And in what sequence do they appear by quality?
Movable, fixed,
No.
cardinal,
Stated,
fixed, mutable.
that would be fixed. Maybe I think fixed is first.
Cardinal fixed and
Cardinal, fixed, and mutable.
Okay. What's another word for cardinal?
Movable.
Oh, gosh.
Like I don't have it, my fingers are, anyhow. So now we're going to name the signs. What's a fixed air? So in this column, we're gonna have all the air signs here, the yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
But then we have it fixed, mutable, and movable. What's the fixed air sign?
Aquarius.
What's the mutable air sign?
Gemini.
And then the movable one?
Is
Libra.
Virgo.
Ooh,
Capricorn.
that's
Oh,
Libra.
Libra.
Libra. Okay, what's the movable earth sign?
Virgo.
Capricorn. Capricorn.
What's the movable water sign?
Oh, fine.
Cancer.
And the mutable fire?
Leo.
Aries.
Leo's fixed. I know Leo's fixed.
The movable. Now what's
Aries.
the movable air sign? Fire sign?
Sag.
Sag.
Mm.
Took me a long time to learn how to spell that word. And what's the fixed one?
Leo.
Okay. Now, what's the fixed water?
Oh, shoot. It's water.
Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Yes.
And the fixed earth?
Taurus.
The mutable earth?
Virgo.
And the mutable water?
Pisces.
Pisces.
Okay. There we go. Now we have to finish these sentences.
Oh.
You can tell I was really a teacher. Like, gosh, darn it, look at this nonsense. Okay, what are the angular houses?
Oh, dear. Aries.
Nope. Now the
Oh, 1, 7, 4, 10. 1, 4, 7, 10.
Yep. I can be a bit OCD, so please forgive me. And they broadcast what kind of volume?
The strongest acoustics.
Okay. What's the next kind of house? Angular houses, and after and here I've told you 3, 6, 9, 12. It's not the next time. With 3, 6, 9, 12 or what
Cadent house.
Cadence.
RJ, your notes are
Cadent.
too, I
Exceeding.
really appreciate them. And
Exceeding.
these are Katie, she's right. And they broadcast what kind of volume?
Least.
Okay, let's get it.
Least amount.
There we go. And the last kind of houses are,
Succeeding.
Succeedent.
those houses are,
2, 5, 8, 11.
and they are, of course, broadcast in moderate volume. Now, which elements more readily get along? Which
Fire
pair
and
of
water.
elements readily get along?
Air, fire, earth, water.
Air and fire
And
get
fire.
along more naturally, and earth and water get along more naturally. But does that mean that that none of the other elements can get along with each other?
No.
No.
No. Because what does air and water produce?
Eve.
Steam.
Steam.
Tornadoes.
Tornadoes, right. There's a lot of energy. About water and fire,
Steam.
Steam.
water and earth.
Mud.
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 What does mud do?
Build
Can
things.
build a house.
Like brick.
Right.
Can build a house.
So how, and air, does air, what kind of relationship have air and water?
Oh, I don't know. Oh,
What is water made out of? What is the chemical,
Hydrogen.
hydrogen and oxygen.
and there we go. And how about air and fire? What kind of relationship do they have?
Steam.
Yeah, but even more than that.
You said air and fire.
Combustible.
Yeah. Can we have fire in a vacuum?
No,
No.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
what?
air fuels fire.
Air fuels fire, exactly. So these are all things that will assist you in interpreting the horoscope and working with the signs and the houses. These are associations that are good to make and are good to try and remember. You most definitely have to should memorize. Well, actually, you should memorize everything that's on this review. Sorry, you got to do the work. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice.
Right.
One
Practice.
step at a time.
How do you get to be a good astrologer?
Study.
Do
One
do
step at
as
a
many
time.
charts as possible.
Exactly. That's what you get to do. As many charts as possible. Okay, so now let's see if my link is going to work. Oh, it did. So here we're going to Astrology 101. And today we're going to do two signs. We're going to do the first two signs in the Zodiac. We're going to do Aries and Taurus. We're also going to talk about the decanate. And does anybody know what a decanate is? Not Peg and not Vega.
Division of 10.
Yeah, it's a division of 10. So how many, a division of 10 what?
3.
Degrees.
Degrees, yes. So how many degrees in each sign?
30.
Does that ever change?
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. It never changes. It might appear in the horoscope differently, but there will always be 30 degrees in each sign. So let's go see Aries. Come on, why aren't you working?
But what does a degree actually compensate with that?
I don't understand the question. I'm not sure of the question.
So there are 30 degrees in each house.
Right.
And what are the degrees pertaining to? Like, is it the degree to which you're more akin to the qualities of that house, or is it something else?
It's not as basic as that. Because sometimes houses have more than 30 degrees, and sometimes houses have less than 30 degrees. It depends on the sign that is on the cusp of a person's chart. In a natural chart, on the cusp of every house are their associated signs. And the signs in the zodiac start with Aries and they go all the way through to Pisces. And there's one sign on each house. Aries is the first house, Taurus is second, Gemini the third. And we just continue in sequence throughout there. But that's called a natural horoscope. That's what you would happen in a natural horoscope.
Vanessa,
Yes.
This is Peg, if I may interject. Robert, it's a circle.
Okay,
The zodiac is a circle. If you remember how your horoscope chart looks, it's a circle. So there's 12 signs. There's 360 degrees in a circle and 12 signs of 30 degrees.
and the,
Does that help?
but it does help, but does that also just sort of then relate to the transport of like the sun across,
Yes.
the sky?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I was asking. But thank you for giving me more context with the circle.
Okay. Yeah, it's a circle of 360 degrees, and you're going to need to know about those 360 degrees when if you choose to take Astrology 101B when we talk about aspects. Because I discovered another way that's not as cumbersome as the method I introduced in the January class. And anyhow, so here we have Aries, the ram. It is the first. It is a fire sign. It is a movable sign. It's masculine.
Vanessa, your screen hasn't changed.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Your screen hasn't changed. It's still on the session review.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's nice. New share. Has it changed now?
Yep.
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, pooh, come on.
Excuse me, Vanessa, when you get a chance, can you just explain the difference between movable and mutable? I don't understand that too much.
Okay. Movable signs are the pioneers. They're the first in their element. That's not to say that they appear first in the zodiac, but they're the first sign of their element. Aries
Okay.
is a movable sign. Mutable and Aries, movable signs are more assertive in their element. They're the more assertive in their element. They are motivated somewhat within themselves. They want to do things their way. They're leaders, they're pioneers. They can be inventive. A lot of what you associate with Aries can be associated with movable signs, because Aries is a movable sign. And all of the movable signs are assertive. They might not be militant, but they're assertive. All of the movable signs have a different degree of ambition. They can be impulsive and self-willed within their element. A mutable sign is more laid back. They are just as powerful, but they tend to observe more readily.
Okay.
They're the developers of the zodiac. I didn't get into that, did I? Okay.
I think you did, but I didn't understand the term movable and mutable. You did talk about the pioneers, developers, and there was one other something.
Okay, I will see if I will find something and post it to you about the qualities of the signs for next week. Okay, so here we have Aries. Now we're just talking about Aries in general. We're talking about the whole sign right here. Energetic, courageous. I didn't put it down here, but I would like you to make note of it someplace. Aries is ruled by Mars. That's where they get the militant. They become militant. Adventurous, aggressive, assertive. courageous. All of these things are about Aries. But now when we break it up into a decanate, each decanate follows the sequence of the element in that sign as it appears in the zodiac. So the first decanate in every sign is that sign, Aries, Aries. So that's what we're going to look at next. We're going to Aries, Aries is the first decanate of Aries. And its activity. It's also Aries. Aries is Aries in general is associated with Easter in the beginning. Certainly the vernal equinox, the beginning of the natural year. They can also be associated with discovering oneself, birth. About her. When you triangular activity, it's also, we can also talk about triangulation. And what is that? Anybody know what triangulation is?
Yeah, that's like when you are bringing together different coordinates to find like the path.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And so they're searchers. And all life, thought, and action are the part. This is from serial. I've got too many papers here. Okay, here we go. This is from serial 72 in spiritual astrology. What else do you associate with triangles?
Equal sides.
Equal sides.
The family, mother, father, mother, and child.
Yes. Excellent.
A trinity.
Yeah. Of all religions, Christianity is the only religion that does not include the feminine in its trinity. The Christianity talks about the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Every other
It's my understanding that the spirit is represents the feminine in that.
Like in
Oh, no.
Gnostic, in
Yeah, but-
Gnostic Christianity, but like the
yes,
patriarchal
it's supposed
stuff,
to
right?
represent the Trinity, but it doesn't. Yes, it's supposed to represent the feminine. Yeah. However, every other religion represents the feminine with the feminine, and not a spirit. And certainly this is part of my stuff with Christianity too. Some claim that Mary Magdalene was Christ's first apostle, and was certainly someone he loved, and shared a great deal of information with. However, how is Mary Magdalene portrayed?
Was she the prostitute?
She's a prostitute. And what woman is held in high esteem in Christianity?
Mary, the mother of God.
And what was she?
She was an unwed mother.
The mother of God.
Yeah, she was an unwed mother, but how's the story go?
She was virgin.
She was a virgin. Yeah, certainly, if you're looking at Egyptian philosophy, you have Horus, Osiris, and Isis. I can't remember. I wrote it down someplace, but not on the pages that I have. But every other religion does acknowledge the feminine. with a feminine entity and not just a spirit. And
Does Judaism?
oh yeah. In Judaism, it is the female, it is the mother who is responsible for the education of the children and for the passing down of traditions.
Yeah, but Eve is blamed. Lilith is vilified.
Yeah,
They don't have a
Yeah.
lot of love for women in
but and the Bible is what is associated with Christianity, Judeo-Christian tradition. And Lilith, well, I'm not as familiar with that part. So I can't speak about Lilith. I wouldn't speak about Lilith. I would love anybody to send me an email with references for that. But anyhow, so with Aries, there is no death. What seems so is transition. This life of mortal breath is but a suburb of the life Elysium, portal we call death. And if you look at Triangulation in Spiritual Astrology, Serial 72, you will see all life, thought, and action are the product of the union of positive and negative.
Positive and negative energies, yeah.
Okay. So now, what sign in the fire trinity comes after Aries?
Leo,
Leo. So the next decanate of Aries, Leo. And it's the river Eridanus, I don't know how to say that, but it's also associated with the Euphrates. The Euphrates is the water giver of life, the fountain of immortal life, the fountain of youth. Ponce de Leon was running around because he wanted to be youthful forever, but it didn't have anything, it didn't have as much to do with physical youthfulness or eternal life as it does for spiritual eternal life. It says exaltation. This is the decanate in which Aries is exalted with the sun. So triangulum is Aries, Aries. We're talking about Mars energy, aggressive, going out there, finding things, being assertive. Whereas in Aries, Leo becomes a little softer, because Leos are a bit more, they can be gregarious. They are kind. Leo's, what's the symbol for Leo?
Lion?
a serpent with his
Lion.
tail.
And-
Oh,
and
lion.
What is
Okay.
an association that you can make with Leos? They are what?
Roar in the force, the ruler, they say, of the force.
And how do they roar? They roar because they want to be sick. Look at me, I'm wonderful. I love Leos. So yeah, please. So, but I want to be seen. They rule. Leos rule the fifth house. The fifth house is the house of entertainment. It's a house of theory, theater. It's the house of pleasure. So they can, and the Leos are generally very kind and generous. They can be protective. And this is again from Serial 72. It talks about the water of life. This is a river. Everybody get Eridanus. There we go. And it's the water of life. It's if you can also, if you want a little bit more mythological detail, look at the story of Gilgamesh. But anyhow,
Look at the what? I couldn't hear you.
Gilgamesh.
Oh, Gilgamesh. Mhm.
Yeah. So what also, the season of the year here is Easter. What else happens during Easter in Judeo-Christian tradition?
Resurrection.
Resurrection.
Yeah. It's also Passover.
Yeah.
And what do what's happening during Passover? You're looking at things. You're taking on your spiritual stuff, your spiritual armor to protect yourself against the Passover, which is death, but there is no death. It's just going to it's passing over to another plane, another sphere. And that's you from Pisces to Aries, you're passing over from winter to spring. Spring is new birth, natural new birth. The fountain of immortal life springs from man's emotional nature. The vibrations of exalted love having a rate sufficiently frequent to affect spiritual substance and build a spiritual body. So, in this decanate of Aries, it is ruled certainly by Mars, because Aries is ruled by Mars. And Leo is ruled by the Sun. So these two planets color the way a person in the second decanate of Aries behaves. Let me go back to, I also have underneath triangulum, I'm back to Aries, the Ace of Scepters. And that is the tarot component of Aries. And if you look at the tarot cards, this is from the Sacred Tarot book, course 6. Aries, these are the decanates describe the minor arcanum in the tarot. So the aces are also affected by the Magus, and the Magus is Mercury. So any of the aces are talking about messages. And scepters are business. Scepters talks about business, occupation, station, class, honor. Scepters are associated with fire, enthusiasm, ambition, enterprise. Ace of Scepters, Mercury and Mars, along with Aries. It's more common interpretation is news of a business opportunity. Aridamus is the Two of Scepters. And the twos come after the two of the major arcanum, and the major arcanum 2 is Isis veiled, and Isis veiled is Virgo. So there's a little bit of modesty that can affect the second decanate of Aries.
Can you explain that again, how you got to Virgo? Can you say that one more time, please?
The major arcanum is associated with the minor arcanum. The major arcanum, it starts with the one, the Magus. And then after if you look at the Sacred Tarot, after they describe the Magus, they also describe the aces.
Okay.
So messages are associated with all of the aces of the 4 truths in the minor arcana. Scepters are associated with the fire signs. So we have 1, 2, and next we have 3. Perseus and propaganda. And propaganda has a negative connotation now because it's mostly been used in order to convince somebody of something that is not necessarily natural. To get them to do something that they wouldn't ordinarily do.
Vanessa, I'm feeling like I don't understand how you identify that somebody's in one of these decanates.
Okay. The
By
first
the
10
degrees.
degrees of Aries is Aries, Aries. The second 10 degrees, thank you, Aaron. The second 10 degrees of Aries is Aries, Leo. Aries is, oh, I didn't write it down. My bad. But if Aries starts at March 22nd, so it's March 22nd to April 1st or 2nd. The second 10 degrees is from 11 to 20. So April 1st to April 10th. And Perseus, the last 10 degrees of Aries, the third decanate, is Aries, Sagittarius. Did that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for pulling my ear. So we're looking at the 3 of scepters. Again, all of this has to do with business in the tarot. Why am I doing this? Why am I making it more dense? Because you're going to get a richer interpretation of each of the decanates if you refer to the tarot and the minor arcanum for each decanate. So we have ace or 1, 2, and 3. This is Aries. And what's the quality for Aries? Is movable or
Movable.
And Aries, of course, is fire. And all fire are going to be associated with scepters.
Okay.
So here we have Aries. And Aries will be, the 3 of scepters will be described after the 3 of the major arcanum is described, and that is Isis unveiled, Isis revealed. 3 is a sign of marriage, of union. Mind over matter is associated with Libra.
Wait,
So-
how did you get to Libra? I'm sorry.
Because it is associated with the 3 of the major arcanum, which is Isis unveiled. And Isis unveiled, the sign that is described by Isis unveiled is Libra. It is the 3 is a marriage number. It is a union number.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Since Libra is the major arcanum associated with 3s, so every 3 is going to have a Libra influence. And how many suits are there playing in a deck of cards?
4.
There are 4. And there are 4 suits because a deck of cards was derived from the tarot.
Right.
Okay, the four suits in the tarot are scepters, coins, swords, and cups. We're just going to talk about two of them tonight. Two of the suits. So Aries, because it's a 3, it has a Libra influence. It has a marriage, a joining influence. So what kind of partnership will this be, since we're talking about scepters, and scepters is associated with business?
Fiery.
These are going to be partnerships, kind of business partnerships.
Fiery partnerships.
They could be fiery partnerships, yeah. But they're going to be a business partnership. Aries is ruled by Mars, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter.
Jupiter.
Now, when I read this, what I thought about was the letter that Martin Luther posted on the church door, because he was protesting the purchasing of indulgences. And indulgences were something that would, you could buy an indulgence and you were free from sin. You could go ahead and do anything wicked that you want because you had your indulgence. So that was one of the things that he was protesting against, Martin Luther. So there is no vicarious atonement. You can't live your life through somebody else. There is no vicarious atonement. Each soul is a responsible being working out its own deliverance from. You can read this. Again, this is from Serial 72. And it has a Aries in Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet, is an expansive planet. Makes things bigger. Aries isn't enthusiastic enough. In the third decan of Aries, it has the influence of Sagittarius and Jupiter. We're talking about long journeys. Listening to other people, sharing philosophy, sharing information. And this is not mundane, not necessarily mundane information, but a higher level of information. Because that's what Sagittarius is about. Now these 30 degrees, 10, 20, 30, are all part of Aries. And somebody with a planet at Aries 13 is going to be in the second decanate of Aries. 1 through 10 is the first, and 21 through 30, or well, 20 to 0, or 29 is the last. Because 30 is not 30, it's 0 of the next sign. So what house is Aries, with what house is Aries associated?
The first house.
The first house. Things are working. I wonder why not. Oh. Okay. None of my links are working. Let me try to let me see if I can do something different. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. I'm going to. There we go. because they worked this morning when I went through. So let me try again. From current slide. No, they're just not working. There we go. It is working. Okay, so we have now the first house. The first house is also the ascendant. When you're talking about the things that strongly describe the native of a horoscope, you're talking about the ascendant, the sun, and the moon. And you can also throw Mercury in there. But it's the ascendant, the sun, and the moon. The ascendant is the first house. It's the beginning. It's the first impression. It's what people, it's the face that you show the world. The sun is the core of you. But the ascendant is the you that you put on the stage of the world. It is how you navigate through the world. It's your personality. It's how it is a way that you express your character. But it is a little bit, it is a different kind of guarded than just your sun, than simply your sun, not just. You know, that just to me sounds limiting, and that's not at all what I mean. The ascendant also can describe the physical body. It can imply the hair color. It can imply the health, and the health is more descriptive when you start applying aspects to the ascendant. The ascendant is the only house cusp that is aspected in a horoscope. It may not, the first house may not have 30 degrees. It could have less, it could have more. Because the houses are not necessarily evenly distributed in a horoscope when you know somebody's birth time. And when you don't know someone's birth time, you're going to put them in a natural horoscope, starting with Aries on the cusp of the first house. Will you get as much accurate or detailed information about the native if you don't know their birth time? No, you won't. You'll get some good stuff. You will definitely get some good stuff, but it will not be as detailed or as individual when you don't know the birth time. So Aries is associated with the first house, is associated with the ascendant. The ascendant is the beginning of the horoscope. Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. It is first. It goes out and discovers things.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When they say below the horizon, then they say ascendant. Below.
So yeah, okay. You know, when you're talking about the two houses on each side of the ascendant, they behave a little differently. The ascendant is the first thing that anybody sees. So it's going
The
to be,
starting point. The starting
it's
point.
the starting point. So it's going to have a different kind of power, And it's, what else kind of house is it? It is an angular house.
Angular, okay.
Vanessa,
So it's going to broadcast loudly, yes?
you talked about that the only part of the first house is the ascendant that can have aspects, and no
Mhm.
in the first house can be aspected. I didn't hear.
Only the ascendant is treated like a planet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
And then
That's a great question.
can any other planets in there be more like more prominent than the ascendant sign?
Yes,
Okay,
they can have more power. The Church of Light, when doing a horoscope, uses something called astrodynes.
yeah, I know.
And we're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay,
But depending on aspects and other things, a planet in any house can have a great many astrodynes and be the most powerful influence in a chart.
mhm. And then wouldn't that
But-
kind of like be a sub-influence of what the body would look like? The physical body?
The physical body is influenced by the ascendant and
Oh.
any other planet that is
Located
posited in the first house.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? We got to hurry up. I spent a little too much time on Aries.
Okay.
So we're going to go back now to now we're talking about the bull. Now look at this. You know, the bull is it's Earth. The symbol for the bull is round and it's got the horns. What are these horns? These horns are actually a crescent moon. Earth signs are feminine. Because it's one of the first 4 signs in the zodiac, it's in the first degree of emanation. So they are motivated by themselves. The bull is a fixed sign. And so bulls can be immovable. They can be stubborn, but they're also practical, and they can very definitely make you feel safe. Yeah, a bull can take care in a different way. Because it's such a huge animal, such a big, a massive animal, it is protective. It's one of the 4 quarters of the earth because it's a fixed sign. What do we know about earth signs? Earth signs are practical. That's one of the characteristics that we talk about when we talk about earth signs. Earth signs do things on purpose. Earth signs want to be able to get the best use out of anything at their disposal. You're looking at serial 73 in spiritual astrology, that's course 7. Taurus is ruled by Venus. And Venus talks about possessions and beauty, money, security, stability. The story associated with Taurus is the Jews in the desert when they created, they removed their earrings from their neck and their jewelry from around their neck and their ears, and they made the golden calf. So Taurus can be very materialistic, as the Jews were in the desert waiting for Moses to come down from talking to God. They decided to party with the golden calf. and was burnt up by the fire of Aries. So it's talking about not worshiping money, but using it for the benefit of all,
Right.
to guard against selfishness. Taurus is, the key word for Taurus is I have. And some other keywords that you can use are they're deliberate, they're possessive, they're practical, patient, reliable, and obstinate. They're stubborn. They can be stubborn. Taurus is April 22nd to approximately April at 21st, 22nd to June. I'm sorry, I skipped a whole month. May 20, 21st, 22nd. There are only 30 days in between there. And sometimes it, you know, they can change a little bit because we do have to accommodate a leap year every now and then. So Taurus is a 2. The number for Taurus, Taurus is represented in the major arcanum by the alchemist. I didn't tell you what Aries was represented by in the major arcanum on the side. But the alchemist is a person who can change base metals into gold. And certainly during the Renaissance and prior to the Renaissance, there were many scientists who were trying to change the actual base metals into gold. Whereas what we want to look at and take here is the base metals or base emotions and base characteristics, and change those characteristics of ourselves into gold. It says, remember then, son of earth, to conserve thy forces, not to recoil at thy works, but in order to wear out obstacles as water, falling drop by drop, wears out the hardest stone. A well-formulated plan of action, followed perseveringly, will raise thee by degrees to the heights thou wouldst attain. Physical life and its opportunities should not be slighted, neither should spiritual aspirations be ignored. Learn, therefore, render unto Caesar the things which be Caesar's, and unto God the things which be God. That's what we're looking at with Taurus. The material things are needed on this plane, but they are not the focus. The material things will allow you, or comfort in the material things will allow you to develop your spirit.
Wait, say that last sentence again. I'm sorry.
Having what you need on the material plane without resorting to selfishness allows you to develop your spirit.
Okay.
And on this plane, you need to be able to develop both. And the more important is the spiritual. So now we're going to talk about the deacons. In the horoscope, in the Zodiac, Taurus is the first earth sign that appears. What's the second earth sign that appears? To appear.
I want to say Virgo.
You're right, it's Virgo.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
Okay.
Okay, and the last earth sign to appear?
Capricorn.
The goat.
I think it's
Capricorn.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about here. We talk about first Taurus.
Mhm.
And the fours, the four of the minor arcanum, which is the Four of Swords, the Five of Swords, and the Six of Swords. The fours of all of the suits are described after the fourth card in the major arcanum, which is the Hierophant, the lawmaker, justice. And this is Jupiter. So the Four of Swords has a Jupiter influence, an expanding influence.
I'm lost. Can you? say
From the
that again?
major arcanum in the sacred tarot,
Okay.
the fours are described after the major arcanum, the Hierophant.
Okay.
The Hierophant is the lawmaker. The lawmaker creates order. And so that's what we're looking at with the Four of Swords. We're looking at order. No, I'm sorry, it's the sovereign. My mistake. Please, excuse me. The Hierophant is number
The
5.
emperor, right?
The sovereign, well, in the Brotherhood of Light Tarot, it's called the sovereign. And conquest to realization of power. Not playing small. And this sentiment, is there anyone in history that you associate with this particular sentiment? One of man's greatest enemies is fear.
Oh, Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah. And what did Theodore Roosevelt do? I'm not Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin Delano.
Franklin. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have nothing to fear but fear itself.
Exactly. And what was happening during Roosevelt's term in office?
Oh, is it the Depression and World War II?
That's right. And he was determined to pull the country out of this Great Depression. And to dispel the fear of poverty. Roosevelt started something that's in jeopardy, or that has been threatened.
Social Security.
Yeah, we go. Roosevelt also did something that Biden is trying to do.
The infrastructure stuff.
Yeah. He had, oh, I can't think of it now, but there was
The WPA, Works Progress
WPA work.
Administration.
Thank you. Yes, all of that good stuff. And just so happened that Roosevelt was a Democrat, just like Biden. We won't go there any further. But anyhow, this is to Taurus determination to overcome obstacles. The Four of Swords. Reversal of fortune, which is certainly what Roosevelt was trying to do for the country at that time when he paraphrased this. Greatest fear is fear itself. Those are the first 10 degrees of Taurus. It is a dyed-in-the-wool Taurian. The second 10 degrees of Taurus is influenced by Virgo. The sovereign is influenced by Scorpio. And what relationship does Scorpio have with Taurus?
Earth and water.
Both.
Yeah, earth and water. They're also opposites. So there's a certain amount of balance that you get by dealing with your opposite, or you can drive yourself crazy. Now, the second 10 degrees of Taurus is the Five of Swords in the minor arcanum, and it's influenced by Virgo. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Libra's determination has a Scorpio influence. And Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. So there's going to be that kind of influence with this first 10 degrees. I really am doing this on purpose there because there is that much information to be gleaned from a horoscope. So the Five of Swords is Taurus Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So there's a communication element with the Five of Swords. And the swords talk about struggle. And all earth is associated with swords. The skies just opened up here in North Carolina. The five of cards of the suits are described after the Hierophant, the lawmaker, Jupiter. So this decanate of Taurus has the influence of Jupiter, Taurus, Virgo, Venus, and Mercury. Because Virgo is ruled by Mercury.
That's what I don't understand, and I apologize. I see Taurus and Virgo, but like, I didn't understand how you got the other signs.
Because Taurus is, I get the other signs because the five is under the influence of the five, the Hierophant of the major arcanum. The second decanate of Taurus is the second earth sign that appears in sequence in the Zodiac, which is Virgo.
Right.
Taurus is ruled by Venus.
Okay.
Virgo is ruled by Mercury.
Right.
Does that clear it up a little bit?
But you had named some other signs, like
Jupiter. Jupiter, because the fives have an overarching influence of Jupiter
okay.
from the major arcanum.
And is that where you also were pulling out Sagittarius and the other because of Jupiter, or?
When I was talking about Aries, yeah. If you don't have books or course 7, you can.
I have it and I read it.
Okay. The information is there. And
I have
also,
to read it again.
some of this information is coming from the Sacred Tarot. Because the Sacred Tarot doesn't form the astrology. It doesn't form the Zodiac. And the Zodiac will help you read the Sacred Tarot. It's all connected. And although you can just do only the astrology courses from the Brotherhood of Light, you miss information because the astrology is informed throughout all 21 courses. And all 21 courses are associated with the 21, 22
Arcanum.
parts of the major arcanum. As all of the signs and the planets are associated with the major arcanum. And the minor arcanum talks about the decanates. There are other parts of the minor arcanum that we're not going to discuss here because we're just looking at astrology right now. and don't want to get any further into the tarot. However, if you do read this information, you will find out more about the sign. Now I'm going to drive you crazy again, because we're going to go to Auriga Mastership, the third decanate of Taurus, which is Taurus Capricorn.
Okay.
The sixes are described after the major arcanum, the two paths is described. And the two paths talks about Venus. The two paths talk about a decision to be made. And mastership over one's self, mastership over a skill. The story that they talk about in spiritual astrology is that of
Elisha.
Elijah, but oh God, what's the man's name? Starts with a P. But he was in charge of driving the horses who carried the sun, the chariot of the sun,
Oh, yeah,
across the skies. And his son wanted to do it. Oh, Daddy, please, please, please. He bugged him forever. And finally, Daddy let him do it. But the child was not ready. And that's what this is talking about. You know, approach, know what you can do. Know yourself so that you know what you can do. That's not to say that you can't go further, but you have to prepare for it. You have to prepare for being able to control the forces of nature. As this says, the function of a master is to control the forces of nature and use it for the protection of the weak and the benefit of all. So Taurus, again, this is the sixes. The sixes are ruled by Venus. All of the sixes have a Venus influence because the sixes are described after the two paths of the major arcanum is described, and that is Venus.
Yep.
The last decanate of Taurus is Capricorn. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So here we have a different kind of determination and step-by-step sure-footedness toward mastership. Capricorn is the goat. So if Aries was the first house, Taurus
Second house.
is the second house. It's the trinity of wealth. It's a succeeding house below the horizon. This talks about possessions, appreciation of beauty. It also talks about self-esteem and self-worth, your values. The second house also deals with your ability to acquire and spend money. And how much you
Thanks.
Identify, or whether or not you identify with your things, whether how attached you might fall into being identified with your things. We're out of time. But remember now, that we talked about the decanates, and you can get the details of the decanates in Spiritual Astrology Course 7. The overall signs are found in Course 2, Astrological Signatures. And you'll also find the houses in there in astrological signatures. And when you're associating these signs and the signs with the major tarot, that's course 6, the sacred tarot. And I see that somebody did mention, it looks like Doris Chase Doan, Blending Astrology, Numerology, and the Tarot. It's a great book. It's an excellent book. It just gives another perspective on the tarot and another perspective on approaching the signs and the planets. We have a short 5 minutes if anybody has a question. Peg, you were going to say something? Or was that you, Rebecca?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's the name of that book?
Blending Astrology, Numerology, and the Tarot.
Thank you.
Doris Chase Doan. And then you're looking at course 2, course 6, and course 7.
Okay.
And just look at the 2s and the 1s, the aces. Well, no, that's not exactly accurate, because yeah, we're also looking at the first 3 cards in associated with Aries are the Ace of Scepters, the 2 of Scepters, and the 3 of Scepters. And then we're looking at the houses, the 2nd house and Taurus. We're looking at the 4, the Alchemist, which is number 14 for Taurus. But the minor arcanum is the 4 of Swords, the 5 of Swords, and the 6 of Swords. Scepters relate to business, and swords relate to earth struggle.
Vanessa, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
You make it be to like ace and 2 and 3 to the scepters, and then 4, 5, and 6. How do you jump from 1, 2, 3 to 4, 5, and 6 of swords?
Because swords are
Earth.
Swords are earth,
Oh,
and Taurus is the 2nd sign in the trinity of earth. Taurus is the movable, the fixed sign. So all of the fixed signs are going to be 4, 5, 6. All of the movable signs are going to be 1, 2, 3. What comes after Taurus?
Gemini,
Aries.
Gemini.
Oh,
And Gemini is what kind of sign?
air,
Air. And what is its quality?
mutable.
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 So what are the decanates of Gemini going to be?
Gemini.
Uh-huh.
Gemini, Libra, and Gemini, Aquarius.
Right. Okay. And what do you think the minor arcanum cards are going to be?
I don't know. That's why I was asking you.
7, 8, and 9.
Now, how come it's 7, 8, and 9? Because it's,
Because it's mutable.
oh,
And all the mutable signs are going to be 7, 8, and 9. There are a lot of associations to be made.
I see. A lot to learn.
There's a lot, and you just have to do the work. I'm doing it this way because they inform each other.
Yeah.
Astrology is the gold key. But there are 2 keys. The sacred tarot is the silver key. Astrology is more stable than certainly the sacred tarot, in that every time you throw a spread in the sacred tarot, you get new information. But and why it changes? Because every time you get information, you change, and so when you throw it next, that information is going to be different. Astrology is static, and the tarot is dynamic. And Taurus relates to the second house. Taurus is a fixed sign. It's an earth sign. The second house is a succeedent house. So it just stays there, you know. It's one of the four corners of the earth. Earth talks about wealth. The Trinity of Earth talks about wealth. All of the earth signs are going to, the decanates of the earth signs are going to relate to swords. All the decanates of all of the fire signs are going to relate to scepters. Business, enthusiasm, aggression, assertiveness. Earth is acquisitiveness. Anything else? Let's see. Okay. Anything
What are
else?
What are we reading for next week?
You're just gonna have to chew on this. You know, there's a lot to
Oh,
chew
oh.
here. This is a big
Oh,
meal,
okay.
and we've only done 2 signs. We've got to get through 10 more. And they're all going to be done this way. We're going to talk about the sign on a whole, as a whole, and we're going to talk about the decanates of the sign, the house of the sign, and how they relate to the tarot. I didn't tell you what the Aries is the Reaper, number 13. So Aries is transition. Aries is change. Starting something new. Next week, we're going to be doing Gemini and Cancer. And which houses are they going to be?
3 and 4.
3 and 4, right? Gemini is a mutable sign, so we're going to be looking at 7, 8, and 9. And Cancer is a movable or cardinal sign. So what numbers are we going to be looking at the decanates of a cardinal movable sign?
4,
1, 2,
1, 4,
and 3.
7.
1, 2, and 3 of the decanates, because Aries is a cardinal or a movable sign. And the decanates of Aries were the ace, the 2, and the 3. Cancer is a cardinal sign, so the decanates of Cancer are going to be the Ace of Cups, the 2 of Cups, and the 3 of Cups. Gemini is an air sign. So the first 4 signs introduce the first 4 suits, the 4 suits of the tarot. Because Gemini is coins, diamonds. And since Gemini is a mutable sign, Aries 1, 2, 3, Taurus 4, 5, 6, mutable 7, 8, 9. Because 10 starts it all over again. 10 is another transition. 10 is the next level of 1. So you have a whole week to read and do all this stuff. And I'll get something for you. It might not be tomorrow, but I'll get something to you by the end of the week to
Okay.
review this information. And Vega, are you there?
I am here.
Okay. I think we're done.
All right.
Thank you.
If you would stop the recording, and I'll stop sharing my screen. That was sent out.
Hold on one second, I gotta shut this off.